Hello everybody, welcome to OriginalContentHD and welcome to another Kotodaman video. Today we are talking about the bingo with the 1000 gem reward for the new collab with the Toaru series. This bingo we actually have to do in a slightly weird order. You can see we're actually starting with mission 5 and you'll see that I'm doing the daily version of the stage because that does count towards the progress for mission 5. Mission 5 to clear the intermediate or expert version of this stage, and this technically counts as the expert version of the stage, but obviously it only counts for one run and you do need to do 3, so bear that in mind. Obviously you could just do the daily stage every day for a set amount of days, but this is one of the easier characters to actually max out. Some of the other ones are going to take you a lot longer to farm, so I don't know. I mean, I think I just did the daily stage and then threw a few runs at like the regular event stages. I think in total it took me about 4 runs to get to max luck, which is really not that bad, I don't think. And now I don't know anything about this series, so don't expect any sort of major insight. I know it's a long series. I remember seeing like the openings for it like a decade and a half ago, and I guess it's still running. I don't know. I don't know. But it's not a series I've actually read, so I'm not, or watched, so I'm not too sure. But clearing mission 5 is great because we actually need to unlock mission 1, and to unlock mission 1 you need to clear, you don't need to specifically clear mission 5 I think, but you have to clear that stage in order to go to your missions and get the key that you need to do mission 1. So that's what we've done, and so that's part of why these missions are in a weird order, and there's actually going to be even more weird order stuff after this. So yeah, so now that we've unlocked this stage, compared to the first stage, this is a lot easier. Obviously the first stage was easy anyway, but this is one of those ones where it's asking you to spell out a certain word. Now, with series I'm a bit more familiar with, there's a good chance that I could just guess what the word is. Especially because it's only 4 hiragana, so it's like, well, you know, word patterns and stuff like that, you can probably just sort of work it out. But I think it was asking me to spell out characters' names. And I just didn't know the characters' names, so I just kind of put it in whatever order. And it turns out the HP on this stage is so low, doesn't even matter. Literally, she got hit with a free-to-play unit's basic attack and she went down. So clearly, it's fine. I did what I could. There are stages later where the spelling will matter, obviously. But in this stage, just whatever, just throw them in there. You know, I could go and find out what the actual definitions are and stuff, but the issue is, this stage requires the key, and I'd used the key, so I think I had to wait maybe another day to get another key, or I don't know if you can get another key. Look, you just gotta beat it once. There's no point in trying to reset or anything. It's very easy, and that is mission 1 clear. And then we go from mission 5 to mission 1 to mission 4, because by clearing the stage for mission 1, you will get the Toaru equipment voucher, which is that little square thing with a frog that you saw in my rewards just there. And you trade that in at the exchange, and that will get you an item, a piece of equipment that you can equip to your team, which is a little frog guy. I'm sorry, I don't know the series. I don't know if the little frog guy is important, but it doesn't matter. Moving on to mission 3, which is our favourite, the quiz. And this quiz is not in 3 parts, as they quite often are. This is in 2 parts. The first part is 4 questions, and the second part is 6, which does make it a little bit trickier. But what I've done is I've taken this, you can see this image, this is there's a guy on Twitter that posts the image with the answers, which is very helpful. It shows you the first bit of the question on the left and the answer on the right. I've linked to that in the description, the tweet, if you want to see the original tweet, you want to follow that account. And what I've done is I've split that image in half. So the first 4, which is set 1, are here. And then when we get to set 2 will be there. And you have to remember that the questions can appear randomly within their set. So just because the questions are listed here on the side on the left, 1, 2, 3, and 4, they're not guaranteed to come in that order of 1, 2, 3, and 4. They could come in any order, but it'll be within those 4. And then when you move to the next set, it'll be any order within that set. As always, you only need to get 2 right. For the sake of the video, I did go back and redo this a couple of times because I think one time I got like the 3rd question wrong, and one time I got like the 9th question wrong, and it's like, how are you getting them wrong? You literally have the answers, but it's just, I don't know, this event's thrown me off my game. Everything's weird, and I was just reading Hiragana wrong and putting the wrong ones in. I think I put a ru instead of a ro at one point, and I put a me instead of an a or something like that. I don't know. So yeah, just a bit strange. And I know, honestly, in terms of the questions, other than the ones where it's obviously spelling out like an English word, which some of these are, I have no idea what any of the questions are, and I don't really know what any of the answers are either. So this one was kind of tough, and I'm kind of glad I've moved away from the way I used to do things, where I would translate the whole question and the whole answer, write it all in English and put it all in the video and in the description for everyone, because honestly it would have taken me ages on this one, absolutely ages. And I think the wiki is relatively decent, but it looked like they were undergoing some like changes, some maintenance. I don't know, it looked like there was a big overhaul happening to a lot of pages, so I wasn't 100% sure how reliable the wiki was for info. And look, we got lucky that we're not doing that anymore, and therefore we didn't require quite as much information. But yes, with the quiz, make sure you get 2 right. Getting any more than 2 is just for bragging rights, or for the sake of making this video, in my case. You don't need more than 2. And that will get you a free guaranteed Toaru summon. You get 1 unit guaranteed to be from the series, guaranteed to be a gacha unit from the series. And there is a 95% chance, or possibly more, I'm not sure, but around a 95% chance that it is the 4-star, the new 4-star edit for this event. And I don't know any of the characters' names, not really. I know this guy on the screen right now is Accelerator, I think his name is. That's about all I've got. But yes, you get the 4-star 95% or thereabouts of the time, but there is still a small chance on that single summon you can get a 5-star, and we'll do that summon towards the end of the video. But you don't need to do the whole bingo to get that. You can just clear this specific mission, and then if you go to your missions page, you'll be able to just go and collect that. So not you don't even need to do the bingo part really, but you know, you still need to get 2 right, so you might as well do it. So yes, we're approaching the end of this one, and you can see that a lot of the words are quite long. It actually is quite helpful when the words are longer, because it puts in some hiragana for you already. If it's a 4, then it won't put any in, so you need to check which question it is and which answer it might be. But when it's longer like that, you can see straight away. It's like, oh, well, that's the only one that starts with "Ware" in section 2, so I know. So I just put it in. So I do prefer the longer ones to the shorter ones. But there we go, 10 out of 10, and we can move on to mission 6. Obviously, we already did 5. Pretty much all in order now, except for mission 2, which we'll talk about a bit later. Mission 6 is to clear the once-a-day version of this stage. Specifically has to be the once-a-day version of this stage. So unlike what I was talking about earlier with mission 5, where you could clear any of those versions of that stage for that character, this one, not the case. Specifically has to be the once-a-day one. It's not like the Once a Day one's harder or anything. It's the same difficulty, so you should be okay. And I mean, I think this is... Well, it's not the hardest stage we face in this video. But I think probably the most difficult thing for me was assembling a decent team that resisted this debuff, the wall debuff, because I just didn't really have that many purple and black units that resisted it, and those are the units that have type advantage over her. Obviously, you could have just set up an off-type team. You could have just not cared that much about type advantage, because the stage isn't that difficult. But the most important thing is getting rid of the walls and getting the combos. As long as you have a decent number of purple and black units in your team, or purple or black units in your team, then I think you'll be okay. I don't know that the bomb insta-kills you, but normally when they have a slightly longer cooldown, that is an indication that they're going to do a lot more damage. So I was operating under the assumption that if I didn't either get rid of the bomb or defeat the enemy before that time it hit 0, there was a good chance I was just going to die. So that's what I was thinking as I was putting this together. And as you can see, like, there's a lot of, like, I've got some old Gatch units here. I do have some special units here. I do also have some free units here. I'm even using free units from this event. Even the one we farmed for Mission 5. So it was sort of a bit strange. You might have seen actually that I was talking about Accelerator earlier. You might have seen that I have Accelerator in this team. You do get one copy of him for free in your event inbox, in the gift box, before you even do anything. You don't have to clear a stage or anything. So I thought that was kind of cool because he kind of helps on this stage. So I figured, why not? I say he helps. His Hiragana are actually not the best for this stage, or for any stage for that matter, but you can get some use out of him, I guess. Now Mission 7. Now Mission 7 is a bit of a weird one, because when I initially went to check on Mission 7, it was locked, and I didn't know why. And I was like, okay, I'll work this out later, because it's Mission 7. It's, I gotta do the other ones first. And in the process of beating the other missions, it was unlocked. And I was like, okay, so I don't actually know what the criteria were for unlocking it. So I went and looked on the news page, and it said nothing about the stage being locked. So I was really confused. So hopefully, when you're doing this, just copying what I do, it'll just unlock for you and you'll get it done. Or maybe it was only locked for me for some strange reason. I don't know. But yeah, this is... Kind of cool there, actually, the cut-in when you get the word correct, because they don't normally do that. But we did get the word correct. The word was sisters. Lucky for us, that was one of the answers in the quiz for part 3. So I knew it, even though I didn't really know it. So that was pretty cool. And Mission 7, easy clear. I don't know if you have to get the word right, but the answer was there on the screen, so hopefully you got that. Now, Mission 8 and Mission 9 are very strange, because I'm pretty sure we had these exact stages for, like, literally the last event. No, I think it was like stage 3 and 6 and 12 or something like that instead of 1 and 10. But effectively the same thing. You clear the first one, which is just like a story stage. You can just skip through that. And then he wants you to go and do stage 10, which is the final boss stage of the area. So I don't really get why they're making us do the exact same one again, especially when there are other story modes available. Sometimes I think it has something to do with, like, if they think the character will be useful for the event, like the characters you farm from this section, or if they think the gimmicks are similar, so it's like, if you're prepared for this stage, you might be prepared for another stage. I don't really know. But we've got the hammer debuff, we've got attack down. We've done this before. I'm literally using the same team I used when we fought this event during the last bingo. And yeah, it's really, like, I didn't even do that well here, because I kind of got a little bit of bad RNG with the cards I pulled from my deck, and I was just kind of like umming and ahhing about how am I gonna do this. Another thing to remember is, like, with the units I'm using, so we're using Yuji and Todo as our leader. Yuji and Todo require 3 red, 3 green, 3 blue in the team in order for their skill to actually activate. I think you also need a certain amount of hero units as well, or human units, or whatever the class is. So, considering they are not one of those types either, that means you have to fit in a set of each, red, green and blue, into your team. And while that's not really a downside most of the time, this stage, I mean, the enemy is blue. There's 3 blue enemies. And so the situation that puts you in is like, if you're putting, say for example, red units. I got some red units in my hand right now. The red units are taking boosted damage and they're doing less damage. And the blue units are neutral. And it will only be those green units I have and then any other like white ones that I have that will give us like extra damage or whatever. So it's kind of silly to have made a team like this for me. But I think a lot of the time when I'm considering like the gimmicks and stuff, I'm kind of not thinking as much about the type of advantage. Like obviously you want to consider it somewhat, especially for some of the stages, but yeah, for this stage I knew it wasn't an issue, so I just sort of put this together. If you could 2-turn it, then it's not an issue, and I think we did indeed 2-turn it here. I don't think the hammers do that much damage even if they do hit you, but obviously using units to clear those will help you out. But you can see here, type disadvantage means that even though Sukuna is a special unit, didn't do as much damage as you might have thought. And then you have a green unit that doesn't even get a full ult off and gets the kill. Okay, and finally, looping back to Mission 2. Now, Mission 2, you may have already cleared by this point in the video, just by playing the stages that we've been playing up until now. Create words with 4 or more hiragana 10 times. That is a very easy mission to do. But the reason I left it to last is because the events were all kind of in a messy order anyway. And I thought this might be an opportunity to show one of the stages that we didn't need to beat for the bingo. I think this stage might be included somewhere in the part 2 bingo. But we don't do the part 2 bingo because the part 2 bingo doesn't give any gems. And we want gems. So I thought, you know what, we'll show this off a bit. So one of the things you'll want, I think, for this stage is, you can see they've got the little yacht there in the middle. You'll want characters with so like you can see Uraraka has it, or Chaka rather, and one of the Kamen Rider, like the bubblegum guy, has it. You'll want that because that will definitely help. But you will also want units that can set up. So if they have Ki or Ri or Hi or there's lots of options that you could put there, and it will set you up with a 3. And the reason that's good for a stage like this is because you'll be getting a lot of 5 combos by doing that. So you can see here we got all our ults off and we did pretty good damage, but there'll be more examples of this later. So you can see here they're setting us up again by putting an at the end. They're kind of setting up that combo. You're not going to be able to do it every time. But you can see here I've put the little ute in there, and I'm hoping that I'm gonna get something to set up with that. And I kind of didn't. I think I used me in the end, which me is another option that can work. But in this instance, it didn't. I spelled Mew, but unfortunately, can Mew is nothing. It's not a word, so didn't work. But yeah, I mean, this is a great stage to bang out a lot of 4+ combos, or not combos per se, but 4+ hiragana words. This is a great place to do it. And you can see again, the way they're set up is they want you to round out the first one, and then in the middle do what, like I was saying before, put the ute or the little yo or whatever. And again, I didn't quite get it. So I think I was really unfortunate on this stage, because it's like, probably could have killed it off a lot earlier, and I just had like slightly bad RNG with the cards I was pulling from my deck, so didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to. Sukuna is great for this stage, by the way, if you have him, because anytime she puts up that multi-hit barrier, his ult just completely obliterates that. He also has type advantage, and when he sets up Malevolent Shrine, all his hits become crits, so that's pretty good. And you can see they've set us up for it just one more time with the little yo at the end. And now she is weakened, so that's a bonus. She is weakened, and we're just looking for the right Hiragana so that we can actually... She is another example of one that's great to bring along here. And so I knew going into this that this was going to be... At least the second part was going to be a 5+ combo. Oh, we only need 4+ combos, by the way, for the mission. But I thought setting up the 5+ combos is good. We're not too worried about the shock damage, but having units that either completely resist the shock or even some of them heal when they get shocked obviously help a great deal. And having healers as well helps a lot. And yeah, just avoiding, I guess, like the more troublesome elements of the debuff. You know, I think that one had one where if I didn't hit my combos, I was going to get debuffed instead of her. And we don't want that, obviously. So they've actually set us up here for a sort of back-to-back. And what I think I was going for here was short Ryo, if I got the right, or Shuryo. There we go. As long as I got the right cards in my hand, I can set up a good combo here, and I did. Which we're pretty happy about. And again, just not that worried about the shock damage, but I did sort of make a mix of units that resisted the various debuffs. We weren't messing about too much here, you know. And Sukuna coming in and just absolutely bodying her now that she's double weakened, and obviously yes, type advantage and all this. Anyway, missions cleared, bingo board cleared. As we discussed last video, we're still going to continue to call this the bingo board, even though there is now a separate thing that is quite often called bingo. And this is technically not a bingo board, if you think about it. But doesn't matter, cleared the board, got 1,000 gems, which is what we came for. And now, as mentioned earlier, we do have the free summon for Toaru, the guaranteed 4-star, 5-star, which you can find in your missions. I don't know what's having trouble finding it, because it's obviously in the last section. In the event section, it always is. But there it is. And it looks like I got enough one of those purple keys. So I was worried about that stage earlier, but I did get another purple key. I don't know if that's for that stage. I don't know. But do everything in the order that I did it in, and you will clear all the bingo missions. So it's fine. It doesn't matter. And not going to see the special animation for this series. I think, you know, we weren't particular. We'll do a multi as well, but you know, I didn't expect to get lucky on that summon, considering how things have gone with Jujutsu Kaisen. And this is a series I don't really know. While all the collab units are normally good, so it's worth doing summons, my gems were kind of absolutely tapped out from the Jujutsu Kaisen event. So I was kind of just thinking, we won't spend too much here. So there's the special unit, Misaka, I think her name is. So that's the special unit for this event. But as you can see, we got the little chode tree, and we didn't get anything good. We didn't get anything good, and that's fine. It is what it is, and that's the end of the video. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.